Wilder, Kentucky is a small town that is located just south of Cincinnati, Ohio. For many years, the town has been subject to visits from curiosity seekers, tourists, paranormal investigators, and media reporters. They come here in search of a place called Bobby Mackey's Music World, a nightclub and tavern that may be one of the most haunted and most sinister locations in the United States. The building where the nightclub is now located has a long and bloody history in the area, from its origin as a slaughterhouse to its tangible link to one of the greatest ghost stories of southern Indiana. It was constructed back in the 1850s and was one of the largest packing houses in the region for many years. Only a well that was dug in the basement, where blood and refuse from animals was drained, remains from the original building. The slaughterhouse closed down in the early 1890s, but legend has it that the building was far from abandoned. According to the lore, the basement of the packing house became a ritual site for occultists. The well was used to hide the remains of small animals that were butchered during their ceremonies. In 1896, the murder of 22-year-old Pearl Bryan, a small-town girl from Greencastle, Indiana, made headlines in the region. Pearl's headless corpse was discovered in a field less than 2 miles from the slaughterhouse. Pearl was pregnant, and her boyfriend, Scott Jackson, a student at the Ohio College of Dental Surgery, urged her to come to Cincinnati where he could arrange an abortion. Jackson and his roommate, Walling, attempted the abortion themselves, but something went horribly wrong. To cover their tracks, they put Pearl's body in an empty field, surgically removed her head so her body couldn't be identified. They would have gotten away with the cover-up if they hadn't left Pearl's shoes on her feet. While on the gallows waiting to die, Alonzo Walling vowed to haunt the area forever. Pearl's severed head was never discovered, and some have speculated that Jackson had ties to a satanic cult, so the head may have been used in one of the dark rituals held in the basement of the slaughterhouse. The slaughterhouse was demolished in the early part of the 20th century, and the lot sat empty until the 1920s, when a new building was erected that served as a casino, nightclub, and speakeasy during Prohibition. When Prohibition ended in 1933, E.A. Buck Brady bought the building and named it the Primrose. After more than a decade of successful operation, his casino caught the attention of Cincinnati mobsters who tried to muscle their way into the operation. When Brady refused to sell, the violence escalated with fighting and threats in the parking lot until Buck drew a gun on a mobster named Albert "Red" Masterson and was charged with attempted murder and left the casino business in 1946. The building reopened as a nightclub called the Latin Quarter in the 1950s. Johanna, who was said to wear rose-scented perfume, a dance hall girl and the daughter of the nightclub's owner, fell in love with the singer, Robert Randall, who performed there. She got pregnant and intended to run off with the young singer, but her father forbade the romance and used his criminal connections to have the singer killed. When Joanna discovered what had happened, she poisoned her father and then took her own life in the basement of the building. Some still believe the building's basement holds the gateway or portal to hell itself, a reference to the long-abandoned slaughterhouse well. Stains near the well in the old slaughterhouse have been deemed the stairs that lead to nowhere, and phantom footsteps can often be heard on these stairs. Some believe that the spirits can't cross flowing water, so the rare northern current of the Licking River may be keeping the dark forces trapped inside the building. A former caretaker that lived in the apartment upstairs claims to have been demonically possessed by the spirits. His exorcism was performed in the club by a minister. A patron claims to have experienced suffocating heat, a flying trash can, and a man with a handlebar mustache repeating, die game, Latin for dying well, dying good, in the men's restroom. Bobby's wife claims to have been overcome by the scent of roses in the basement, grabbed around the waist, picked up, thrown down, and pushed downstairs by a force that resembled sketches of Alonzo Walling screaming, "Get out, get out." She refuses to set foot in the club again. Bobby Mackey claims not to be a believer, but he did write a song entitled Johanna about the young girl who committed suicide in the basement in the 1950s. Bobby Mackey's friend Doug Hensley wrote the book Hell's Gate, which connects the events of the past with the hauntings of the present. Hot spots in the club include the Spotlight Room, the catwalk over the stage, the well in the basement, the old China Room, and the platform area near the kitchen. People have also claimed to see ghosts in the big pitted mirror in the main room.